During his periodic television addresses in May 2020, President Museveni described mask wearing as one of the safety nets to combat the spread of coronavirus, which could eventually lead to lifting of the first lockdown.
The other safeguard in this is that we are going to make it mandatory for everybody who is not in his or her house to wear a cloth face mask covering all the time the mouth and the nose. This is currently being produced by Nitel and other factories.
Initially, a vote of 35 billion shillings had been set aside to purchase masks after the president said they should be offered free of charge to cater for sections of the financially constrained population.
After all, this mask we are giving one mask per person. So they may not be enough. So that's why we are saying people should try. For example, we encourage the corporate bodies to buy fabric masks as long as our standard specifications are out there to the suppliers who can make and be able to avail these masks on the market so that people can buy. Because we are looking at 3,000, 2,500. People should be able to afford.
By the end of March this year, the figure had snowballed to 78.8 billion shillings to procure 36.3 million pieces of masks, which were procured and distributed over and above the population projections. At a total cost of 78.8 billion shillings, it means that the unit cost of each mask was 2,171 shillings. One official told NTV that initially the unit cost of the face masks was 1,000 shillings but was increased to 2,400 shillings. Previous news reports quoted the Health Minister Cheng saying they were trying to negotiate the factory unit cost of a mask from 2,400 shillings to 1,000 shillings. Currently, ordinary, non-medical face masks cost anywhere between 1,000 shillings and 2,000 shillings on Kampala's streets. One manufacturer who requested anonymity told NTV that a unit cost of a mask for bulk purchases is between 350 shillings to 500 shillings depending on the quality. The mask contract beneficiaries include a legal aid to the president. Another mask deal was doled out to Arnaitwe Kashumba and Jessica Kashumba, whose company, M-Max Investment Limited, had earlier on bagged another lucrative tender worth 810 million shillings from the Office of the Prime Minister to supply 180 metric tons of beans. The other beneficiary was Silk Events, whose owners are Elvis Sechanzi and Agasta Kalala Jr. However, there are concerns that the direct procurement method, which is opaque, was preferred to competitive bidding. The Health Ministry defended the direct procurement method, claiming that the purchase of masks was a matter of urgency, which is one of the exceptional terms under the PPDA rules to exempt competitive bidding. In May last year, a section of MPs tried to put flack against single sourcing contractors, urging that the ministry should engage community groups for the money to trickle down, an idea which Health Ministry officials shot down.
There were over 28 companies, including Nitel. There is another one called Spanner, and many others.
How did you get those 90? How did they know about that, the mask?
After the presidential announcement, they came to find out the quality. They came to find out how they will make these masks using scientific means. That's why they came to inquire, and we have been in a meeting. There are many companies, including women.
Honour Minister, so Minister of Health, come and tell us tomorrow what is happening. And if Nitil is good, let them compete with other Ugandans to make these masks.
There were fears that if there are no checks, the mask deal could take the pattern of the graft-riddled food distribution deal. In April last year, 4 senior officials at the Office of the Prime Minister, including the Permanent Secretary, were held in custody after they were accused of inflating prices of the food that was supplied. Distribution of the masks commenced on June 20, 2020, starting with 750,000 masks dispatched to border communities in the districts of Rakai, Amuru, Chotera, and Adjumani. Of the 78.8 billion shillings, 53 billion shillings was paid during the last financial year 2020-2021 and 25 billion shillings paid out in the preceding financial year 2019-2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic struck. The Health Ministry also spent another 594 million shillings for the distribution of masks countrywide. The first tender for the manufacture of 8.5 million masks was handed to the Bugolobi-based Fine Spinners Limited at 20.4 billion shillings. The second batch to manufacture 7.5 million masks was handed to Southern Range Nyanza Limited at a contract sum of 18 billion shillings, but the price rose to 21.6 billion shillings, an increment which was not explained. One of the company officials did not immediately respond to our inquiry about the variance in sums when we contacted him on phone. Another deal was handed to Graphic System Limited, which received 10 billion shillings by the end of last year, and another 5.2 billion shillings was handed out to MMAX Investment Limited, a company registered in 2009 to Arenaitwe Kashumba and Jessica Kashumba. Exken Uganda Limited received 1.5 billion shillings to deliver another batch of masks, and another 1.1 billion shillings was handed to Big Concepts Limited, a company registered in 2017 to Rahul Dhawan. Another mask bunch contract was handed to Fundi Building Centre for a cost of 985 million shillings. Christex Garment Industry, a company incorporated in 2012 under the names of Chris Mutejechi and Rosebel Bajenda, received 810 million shillings to deliver masks. Winfred Fashions Limited, owned by Hilary Arenaitwe and Winfred Arenaitwe, is also listed as a beneficiary and was paid 2.9 billion shillings. Another deal was given to events promotions firm Silk Events. The company, owned by Sechanzi and Sekalala Jr., was paid 528 million shillings. Evergreen Safaris Limited, owned by Asimwe Rashida and Frank Waibale, received 413 million shillings for the masks they supplied. Youth Save, the Nature Uganda Limited, provided another bunch for 35,267 masks, for which the company was paid 193.2 million shillings. The company is incorporated under the names of Olivia Mugabe and Flora Kichoncho, the State House legal officer. Another deal was handed to two entities, one to Fine Media, a marketing agency registered to Timothy Bukenya, and Angela Nalubega, which received 348 million shillings, while another to Uganda Industrial Research Institute to make 3 million masks at a cost of 9.6 billion shillings. Each individual was entitled to one mask, but some local governments distributed 2 masks per individual. This partially led to inadequacy of non-medical masks in various communities, which the Health Ministry attributed to variations in population after relying on data from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Of the 36.6 million masks, northern Uganda, with an estimated population of 8.7 million people, received 7.2 million masks. Western Uganda's 10.1 million people received 8.6 million masks. And central Uganda, with the highest population density of 13.1 million, of which 10.3 million are above the age of 6, received 12.6 million masks. Eastern Uganda's sub-regions of Karamoja, Teso, Bugisu, Sebei and Busoga, with an estimated population of 9.4 million people, of which 7.4 million are believed to be above the age of 6, received an estimated 7.6 million masks. Without an audit to verify the distribution exercise, the jury is still out if 36.3 million masks were delivered to communities, and if there was value for money